How's it going, party people? It's Caravan Dan from Gaming Caravan. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my experience with Teotihuacan, a game from 2018 by Daniel Tassini, or Danielle Tassini. I don't know how to say the name with the two E's. And this game is definitely a heavy game, but if you like worker placement, if you like track bumping, if you like tight resource management games, this game could be the one for you. The theme of the game is simply you're fleshing out Mesoamerica, you're building out, I believe, Teotihuacan, the actual pyramids back there in the Mayans or Aztecs or something like that. The audience for this game is that if you like heavy worker placements, if you like a lot of micro decisions to building out the strongest workers to get and maintaining them, this is the game for you. The MSRP price of this game is $60, which is not that bad by any means with the production quality with this game. The details about the player count is 1 to 4 players. It has a solo mode. It has a completely variable setup guide for every single player count. It's just, I think it's very obvious that this game plays best at 4. I played at 3 and we had to rearrange some things on the board with every intermittent scoring. But with 4 players, you kind of just set up the board and then you go with it. Not too hard. The weight of this game is 3.8 out of 5. It's a pretty heavy game. I'm not going to say it's a 4. As much as I didn't want to believe the teacher Connor when he was talking about it, he's like, once you get used to it, it's a lot easier. And to be honest, it did not get more complicated. Everything definitely got easier and more streamlined, but I had to have him check my turns like the first 6 turns to make sure I was doing everything properly. And turns out I was, for the most part, but I had to ask a lot of questions during the teach. The length of this game is about 30 minutes per player. I would say that at our 3-player count, first time gaming, it took about 2.5 hours, something like that, 2 hours 15. And the teach was a solid 30 minutes. The aesthetics of this game is that this game looks good. It's a good board. I like the tiles a lot. The resources are kind of lame. I'm glad that they have some wooden components with the gold and the stone and the wood, but the cocoa or cacao, which is like the primary resource of the game, it's shaped like an oval, and then the actual icon for it is very, very small. I wish they just did that as well as a specific icon, like an actual wooden component, but it is what it is. It's just ironic that the worst component in the game is the one that you have to have, like, is the most important in the game. So yeah, it's a really good board layout than components. For the in-game details, we have the setup time. I didn't set up the game at all, but the setup time for me would be 30 minutes. Just looking at what you have to do, just looking at everything that has to be set up, looking at the rule guide. Okay, this player count, I put this there, I put this there. First player gets these main resources, bumps up this track. Second player bumps up these 2 tracks, gets this resource. Third player does this and that. It's like, holy crap. And with how slow I am and how much I have to check myself for setup, it would take me a good amount of time for sure. To teach for this game, I would say it's about 30 minutes talking, 45 with question. I had a lot of questions in this game, which definitely bogged down the teach. But there's a lot of information to take in. It's one of those worker placement games where you have to explain every single slot, every single location, then re-explain a few locations. Now they have a solid understanding of the last few locations. The main mechanics for this game, you got a solid rondel mechanic, where you basically have to go in specific order and specific clockwise, specific order around the board. You have a solid worker placement, where it's really worker management system, because you're never placing a worker down. You're simply lifting up a die from a location, moving it up to 3 spaces forward from its current location to activate that worker placement slot. But it's not really like worker placement, because you're not actually grabbing it from your board and placing it anywhere. It's open worker placement slots, which is why I'm calling it worker management, because you really have to manage the levels. You have to make sure they're fed. You have to make sure that they're you're paying attention to where they're going, what action you need to do. It's less placement and like locked boards, because no spot on the board's really locked unless you're worshiping, and even then you could pay some cacao to kick someone else out of that spot. Yeah. And then intermittent scoring. So you got rondel, worker management, intermittent scoring, because you scored 3 times throughout the game. Every eclipse, meaning when on this one track 2 things cover each other up, that's going to score the game. The game feels like, honestly, it does feel like you're managing the workers for most of the game. That's a solid main component I didn't understand until halfway through the game. I acted like I was a victim of my own opportunities, basically, where like, okay, if I went here with this die, I have to bump up this die that I used. But really, if you have 2 dice in one location, you can bump up either die, which means instead of ascending multiple times, you can actually spread out your dice values a lot more, which is important to do, and I did not do, which means I actually wasted a lot of action the first half of the game, which shows, because the end game score, I got 150, and the other 2 guys got 196 and 197, so I was about 40 points behind, which is a decent margin, not the worst margin, but definitely a good margin right there. So yeah, definitely feels like a solid worker management system with like strong resource management ties. What I did like the puzzle they had to figure out. You had to find out like what was the best time to go here, Should I have dice come together on the board? Should I actually spread my dice to have some free actions? Because on the board, if there's for every other color in a worker placement slot or area, you have to pay 1 cacao, which is not easy to do. So my strategy actually was have my pieces spread across the board and go into the free spaces and use other resources, because it kind of sucks when you pay like 3 cacao to get 2 stones or like 1 victory point. So you really have to pay attention to like what opportunities you can create and where people are trying to go, and kind of stay around them without having to pay the most for their location. But honestly, whenever you have everyone grouped at one location, you can put your die in there, and instead of doing an action, you can actually gain cacao, which is a solid opportunity. Because it's the most valuable resource in the entire game. Yeah, I like that. I like managing the workers. I like that. I like the fact that I've never really played a worker placement game, worker management game, that you actually have to feel like the workers are alive. Like, I actually had to feed them and make sure I had enough food in my inventory in order to feed them. And it hurts a lot when you don't feed them. For every food that needs to be fed to your workers you can't feed, you lose 3 victory points, which is a ton of victory points. Maybe not like game-changing amount if you only do it a few times, but it's something that you can definitely, like, you have to pay attention to, or it's going to catch up for you for sure. What I dislike about the game, it was just like very complicated. Once I figured out how to play it properly, and once I figured out like what I need to do to get it done, it was just like nothing struck a chord with me. It felt like the game didn't do anything that resonated with me. Like, the theme wasn't there for me. I liked worker placement. Worker management was like, it was interesting and fun, but more convoluted. And honestly, if the game's convoluted, I'm kind of just like, why do we do it this way? I know it might be better this way, definitely unique, but like not for me for sure. Yeah, I didn't really. The rondel system felt a little bit too limiting. It makes sense why they do it that way. You have to pay attention to like where everything is along the track and make sure that like you have one piece that can trigger back here before you have a piece that triggers down here, to have a piece that trigger over here. So it makes sense. But it's just like, I didn't have fun with it. It was a fun game. I enjoyed the game. It was fun. Definitely a high quality game. If you like heavy games, if you like strictly worker management games, if you like heavy Euros, this is the one for you. For sure. Not for me. Because I don't necessarily like heavy Euros. I need a good theme to draw me in. And this one, I just wanted to because the box was cool. My friends were playing it and talking about it. So I'm like, cool, I'll play it. So, not a bad game. It's not a bad game. Not my favorite game. That's all it is. And then comparisons, I have nothing to compare this game to at all. I have never played a game like this, which is such a compliment, because I hate when I play games that I'm like, okay, this is just a clone of A, B, and C. The ranking for this game, if you don't know, I rank every single board game I've played. If you want to look at my channel for all my Before You Buy videos and a lot of my top 10s, I talk about the ranking for all the games on my list. The best game I've ever played is sitting at number 1. Worst game I've ever played is sitting at 182. And honestly, I like all the games on my list except for the bottom 40 probably. And this game sits at number 92 out of 182. It sounds low, but this game actually sits in my top 100 games of all time. Like, I don't necessarily have a desire to tell too many people about it, but definitely the quality game, quality experience. I would be against playing it again for sure. Like, it's one of those games I'm sitting there like I'll be down. Like, it's probably like a 6.5 for me. Where like I'd play it again, not super excited for it, but like if I have the brain space, I'll be down for that challenge again. It was fun. And for reference, this game's right underneath Spirit Island and right above React, 2 other heavy games. React is like a medium weight, it's completely asymmetric combat game, and Spirit Island is a deck building cooperative. 2 games that like I like it. They're good games for sure, and they're just not for me. So like it's sitting in the comfortable category for sure. Would I buy this game? Short answer, no. I don't care if it's like 20, 30 bucks. It's just not for me. I have no need for my collection. I don't think it does well for my events. For my personal collection, where it's just like fun, medium weight max games. I think the heaviest game in my personal collection is Ark Nova right now. And I love Ark Nova, but that's just I like the business game. I love animals. I love zoos. I love tile placement games. I like everything of that one. You know what I mean? It's different. This one I just have no desire to own. And goes into my replayability. Is this game replayable? This game is fully replayable. You can play this game again and again and again. There are so many different things you can change out with this game. You can change out various worker placement spots. You can change out zones. Like almost everything in this game is fully modular, which means if you want a game you can like grind on and never play the same game twice, this can definitely be that game for you. Will I replay it? Probably not. To be fully honest, probably not. There's just so many games I want to get to, and I don't like spending games that takes hours and hours that I don't really necessarily want to play. So that's just a personal thing. No hate on the game. Again, currently it's a top 100 game. Might stay that way for sure. It's sitting in a good crew, but it's just not anything up my alley personally. Like, keep in mind, Galactic Cruise to me is like 112. So it's not a bad game. Another good game that's just not for me. I just don't enjoy it too much, which I want to find out why necessarily, but until then, it is what it is. So that's everything for today. Don't flame me in the comments for the love of God. Tell me what you're drinking, because I'm drinking nothing right now. Thank you for watching and participating. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving this year. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you like what we do, make sure to subscribe. If you like this video, like the video. If you're on mobile, drop a hype, which definitely helps us boost up an algorithm. But until next time, peace, have a great day, God bless, and I hope to see you at a channel soon. Hope to see you on a table soon. Hope to see you at a table soon. What?